which is why when I think about investing in multifamily real estate, this is interesting to me because we always say you have to follow the money, right? And if you're going to be following the money as it relates to investing in real estate, you know you're going to be looking at multifamily real estate. And I keep talking about it, I go over it all the time, is that there's roughly about 70 million millennials and 70 million baby boomers all doing one thing, becoming a renter nation. They're renting. Rent their cars, rent their apartments, rent their place. Hell, if we're gonna have a birthday party for my grandkids, I'm not gonna buy a 6-foot table. I'm gonna go rent one. If I haven't already, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna rent everything, right? That's what Uber is. That's what Lyft is. So everything that people do right now, they're renting. So if that's kind of becoming the way of the world and things are happening so fast, multifamily real estate, as it relates to an investment for housing, it's probably something to keep taking a look at, because when I look at a deal, I'm thinking 10 years forward, 10 years on my rents. And if I can just get 5%, what do we say? The average is 8 to 9%, but we're not doing that. And that's not including inflation, right? Because if you think about that, in 2020, just 2020, less than 5 years ago now, if you had $1 million in savings, that $1 million lost 25% of its buying power. So you would only buy $750,000 worth of anything, investments, goods, services, whatever the case may be. That's happening. That comes from inflation. That's going to keep happening. But the good part about inflation is that inflation and real estate go hand in hand. Inflation is good when you have assets. Can you even read that? And let's see, that's why I was trying to turn my marker. Inflation. Boom. I'll go back to it. Inflation is good for real estate. It really is, because as the value goes up in your real estate, then in your rent, then the value of your property goes up. That's how real estate is. These properties I'm talking about. And I'll give you an example of that. And I know my pen's dying, so bear with me. Let's say we found $100 million deal. I'm going to get $60 million in debt. Easy to do. These big deals, they all carry debt that way, right? But we're going to all come together. We're going to all put in $40 million in equity. $40 million in equity. Here's how this deal will work. So this is how I make sense of investing in a deal, especially when I'm thinking about what's happening in the world about rents and how they're continuing to go up in the housing market, right? And it's going to continue to happen, right? It's happened for 50 years. It's happened over 100 years. It's going to continue to happen forward. So let's say we put down $40 million. We all collectively come together, whether it's 10 of us or 400 of us, we all came up with 100 grand each, or it was 40 of us and we all put $1 million. Doesn't matter. Let's say we're going to get 5% on our money in this apartment building deal. Let's say this is a 200 unit deal, 100 units. Hypothetically, just roll with me on that one. All right. So that's 5%. So we're going to get what? $2 million a year just in cash flow on our money as it sits. Boom. Not a big problem. Over 10 years, we'll have 50% of our money back, right? That's 50% of our money back just from doing nothing. The property doing what it's doing. I'm really losing my pen. Let's see. I'll go with it. We're almost done. But like you saw what I just shared with you about the inflation. So let's just say on the average in this property rents, do I think on the average, let's say the average rent in this property is $2,500. $2,500 on the average across the board, right? It can range from $3,000, $2,700, $2,500, $2,200, whatever. But let's just say we increase rents at a minimum of 5%. All right. 5%. I think that's realistic. So let's go 5%. So we'll get another $2 million a year just by raising the rents. And let's say we didn't do that for 10 years. Let's say we cut it back. We only got 5 years. We held this thing for 10 years. 10 years, we got our original 5%. 5 of the 10 years, let's say we didn't get it the whole time, we did that. That's another $10 million on our money. Just from increasing the income of this thing or the cash flow, right? This is an increase. We already were getting this. Now we're getting this.